Now, banning the 1994 Disney Christmas movie The Santa Claus starring Tim Allen for this scene right here is absolutely ludicrous. But let's find out why in this video with my top 10 movies that you didn't know were banned. And also stick around to the end of this video for a bonus ban title that you had no idea existed. Let's go! Number 10. This is none other than the original 1972 horror film written and directed by the late Wes Craven, rest in peace. And that film is The Last House on the Left. Initially, when this film was released, it was released uncut and uncensored, but then later pulled from theaters during that same year, re-edited, cut down, and re-released. This film was banned in various countries such as Australia, the UK, the US, and more. Having said that, this film was banned for the depictions of extreme sexual violence and rape. But there is an even more extreme version that you all don't know and nobody's ever seen because it was refused classification by the Classification Board. Number 9. This is the 1994 Disney Christmas fantasy comedy film starring Tim Allen, and that movie is The Santa Claus, directed by John Pasquin. Now, this movie was banned, or I should say pulled from shelves because of this scene right here.
Neil's mom's number in case.
1-800-SPANK-ME. I know that number.
And a Merry Christmas to you too.
So what actually happened was, a child watched this movie from Washington in the United States. He saw this scene right here and he decided to call that hotline up, which turned out to be an actual functioning sex hotline. And from that phone call, he amassed a $400 phone bill, which is the equivalent to $800 today in 2025. This movie was later then pulled from the shelves. That scene was later taken out, then re-released on VHS, then on DVD, and then on Blu-ray. But none of those versions have that scene in the movie. Number 8. From 1981, the supernatural horror film written and directed by Sam Raimi. And that film is The Evil Dead. Now, the uncut version was banned in many countries, including Germany, Finland, Iceland, the Ukraine, Singapore, and Ireland due to its graphic violence, including one main isolated scene where a woman is raped by a tree. Yeah, okay, moving on. And that film ban was later lifted during the year of 2017. Additionally, the film was banned in the UK, heavily edited and re-released. 49 seconds of the film was removed, made legal during the year of 1992. The US, although, did give this movie an X rating upon its release. A film now which lays in the category of video nasties. Why, might you ask? Well, just take a look at this scene right here. Number 7. Now, this is the only film on this list that I haven't seen. This is the 1981 supernatural, psychological, horror drama film directed and written by Polish filmmaker Andrzej Zulawski, and this is Possession. Now, this movie was banned and is still banned in the UK, and more than 40 minutes of this film was cut from the original US release due to its intense and disturbing content according to IMDb. Now, what do I mean by intense and disturbing? Well, here, take a look at a clip from this movie. Number 6. This is definitely my favorite film on this list. This is the 2008 French film directed and written by Pascal Laugier. This is the psychological horror movie Martyrs, the original. Now, this film was banned in both France and Canada, both French-speaking countries, when it came out. But then a few months later, the ban was lifted and the film was allowed to be viewed in its entirety. But as for home media releases, This film has been cut down, censored, re-released in the majority of countries, and that is the R18 version that you can watch and you can buy. But where can you watch the unrated version? Where can you buy the unrated version? Well, right here in Australia. Now, I currently own the unrated version on Blu-ray by Umbrella Entertainment, but why did this film receive such backlash? Well, take a look at a clip from this movie and judge for yourself. Number 5. This is the 1974 Tobe Hooper horror classic, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, based on the serial killer Ed Gein. Now, this film was banned in multiple countries, including Australia, Germany, UK, Norway, Ireland, and more. But since its release, the ban was lifted. Some countries during the 1980s, some in the 1990s, and then Australia following in 2006. Now, the film was banned because it was deemed too offensive, too graphic to receive an R18 plus rating. Don't believe me? Well, here, take a look for yourself. Number 4. This is the 1978 horror slasher revenge film written and directed by Marty. This film is the answer to Wes Craven's Last House on the Left, which predates this movie. And this film is I Spit on Your Grave, the original, which was given an X rating upon its release. The film was banned internationally in many countries such as Ireland, Germany, Canada, and was banned in Australia. Later, a censored American version of this film was released. But since 2001, this film is available for purchase or viewing in most countries. Now, this film was banned due to its strong sexual content, rape scenes, and violence. Now, if you haven't seen this movie, take a look at a clip and let me all know what you think. Number 3 is the 1987 supernatural horror film directed and written by Clive Barker, and this movie is HELLRAISER, one of my favorite horror films of all time. Now, this is definitely one of the goriest, but also well-told horror films that I've ever seen. Now, this film was banned in multiple countries, including Canada, Australia, the UK, and more. Now, this film, upon its release, received an X rating for its strong violence. And the film was cut down to an R18 rating in Australia, Germany, and Sweden, and many more countries for many, many years, until the ban was later lifted in 1998 for the majority of countries anyways. But why was this movie banned? Well, this film was banned for its extreme graphic, strong gore, violence, and subject matter. But this film received a lot of controversy for a couple scenes. One of the scenes where Julia kills one of her victims with a hammer, and then the other scene where Uncle Frank's head explodes at the end of this movie. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then I'll show you both of those scenes right now.
Did you not this? Please! Please!
Number 2. This is the 1973 supernatural horror classic directed by William Friedkin, rest in peace, and written by William Peter Blatty, rest in peace also, based on the novel of the same title by William Peter Blatty, and that movie is The Exorcist. Now, this movie was banned internationally, banned in the United Kingdom, Australia, and Ireland due to its graphic violence and disturbing themes of demonic possession. Now, later, the movie was cut down and re-released as a shorter version of the movie. But during the year of 1999, the movie was released in its entirety, and that is the version of the movie titled The Version You've Never Seen Before. But if you haven't seen this movie, it's a very surreal film about a young girl that is possessed by a demon named Pazuzu. And if you haven't seen this movie, here, prepare to be shocked. Take a look at a scene from this movie. Number 1. This is the sequel to the banned original, the 2011 body horror film written and directed by Dutch filmmaker Tom Six. And this is The Human Centipede 2 full sequence. Now, this film was banned temporarily in Australia, the UK, the Netherlands, and New Zealand. And later that year, the ban was later lifted after 32 cuts of the film were made, and then later given an R18 rating from an X rating with 2 minutes and 37 seconds less than the original cut. Now, this film aims to disgust even the strongest of people. What can I say? With the only country not banning this movie and the only country allowing the full unrated, uncut version of this movie to be viewed, purchased, is the United States. But having said that, is this movie as bad as people say it is? Well, let's take a look for ourselves, shall we? Bonus title! This film has been banned in Singapore for over 30 years and still remains banned there to this day. Rating from 1971, this is the crime dystopian film written and directed by the late Stanley Kubrick, rest in peace, and that film is A Clockwork Orange. Now, shortly after this film's release, this film was pulled from the theaters by the director himself and the film board for its graphic violence and crimes inspired by this film. The film was banned in the UK, Ireland, and Singapore, and in my opinion is definitely Kubrick's best work. Ultimately, let's end this video by watching a scene from this great and unique film.
I'm sorry, but we don't usually let strangers in the middle.
Thank you all for watching. I'm Mike Star. If you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up and comment me down below with any questions you may have. And that was my top 10 movies that you didn't know were banned. If you've liked this list, don't forget to check out one of my previous videos where I go over top 10 movie mistakes that you didn't know existed. I'll put a link in the description to where you can watch that video. But I'm out of here, everyone. I'll catch you all on my next video. But until then, have a good night.